My name is Keshwani. It's Keshwani. Keshwani. We're here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the very first problem that you will see on page number 165. Please turn to page 165, problem number 91. Problem number 91. And today is our lesson number 97. We are told that q is an odd integer, alright? Q is an odd, well they don't say integer, I misspoke, they don't say q is an odd integer, it just says q is an odd number. Well, of course, if it's an odd number, it's an integer also, what am I thinking? And then the median, we are told that the median of q consecutive integer is 120, alright? So the median of q consecutive integers is 120. Question simply is what's the largest of them? Well, the simplest and the quickest way, the quickest and most efficient way to solve this problem is to simply plug in a number for q, plug in some numbers for q. And when you're plugging in numbers for a variable, when you're using plugging in technique, the key is to keep your numbers as simple and as small as possible. Smaller the number, the less work you will have to do. We could just as well plug in q equal to 5 or q equal to 55, but then we'll end up dealing with 55 numbers. We don't want to do this. So here we have 3 consecutive numbers. Why 3 consecutive numbers? That's what the problem says. It says q is an odd number, so we pick 3. Median of 3 consecutive integers is 120, so q equals 3. And we know now the median of 3 of numbers is 120, so the numbers must be 120, 119 and 121. Voila, that's your median. Question simply is, what's the largest? Well, the largest one is this one. The largest one is 121. This is what we call our punchline. That's our punchline. Now all we have to do is go to the answer choices. Wherever we see q, replace it with 3 until we get the answer that we're looking for, 121. Let's see what we get. Answer choice A says q minus 1 over 2 equals over 2 plus 120. Now remember q is 3. Q is equal to 3. So 3 minus 1 over 2 plus 120. Well, 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 over 2 is 1. So it's just 1 plus 120. 1 plus 120 is exactly what we're looking for. 121. There we go. We got lucky. The answer is A. In the worst case scenario, of course, you have to try all of them, all 5 of them, and the answer happens to be E. You'll end up trying all 5 of them to figure out which one actually gives you what you're looking for. Here, we just got lucky. The answer happens to be A. You can try it on your own. You will see that no other answer choice, among the 5 answer choices, no other answer choice will give us 121. This is the only one. The answer is A. That's it. Let's do the next one. 92. Problem number 92 deals with 30, 60, 90 triangle. And before we actually solve the problem, let's understand what the 30, 60, 90 triangle entails. So here's our triangle. This is 90, this is 60, and this is 30. In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, the sides come in a fixed ratio, and you must know what that ratio is. Now here's what I do. You can do whatever you like, obviously, but to help me remember things as to what goes where, here's what I do. There's a simple mnemonic device that you use. What does mnemonic mean? Mnemonic means a memory device, a memory trick, something that you make up to help you remember something. Mnemonic has an M in the beginning, which is silent, so don't forget that. Mnemonic device. Here's what we do. We have 3 different angles, 30, 60 and 90. Therefore, write down 1, 2, 3. Step number 3. That's for first step. We have 3 different angles. Step number 2. Write down 1, 2, 3. Step number 3. Put the square root sign on the last one. Put the square root sign on the last one. So here's the 1, 2, 3 square root sign on the last one. Step 4. Arrange them in order. So the smallest one is 1. The one after that is not 2. The one after that is root 3. And finally 2. Now we know that in any triangle, it doesn't matter what kind of triangle it is. Here it happens to be a 90-degree triangle, but what we are about to say applies to any triangle. In any triangle, the opposite sides and angles are proportional. Opposite sides and angles are proportional in any triangle. But it doesn't matter, as I said, it doesn't matter what kind of triangle it is, whether it is right triangle or equilateral triangle or isosceles triangle or acute triangle or obtuse triangle. It doesn't matter. Regardless of what kind of triangle it is, the opposite sides and angles are always proportional. The largest angle will face the largest side. The largest angle in this triangle is the 90 degree. That's the largest angle, therefore it will face the largest side. The largest side happens to be 2. Voila. The smallest angle in a triangle will face the smallest side. The smallest number among 3 here, they are already arranged in order, that's 1. And of course, the 60 degree is the middle size angle, therefore it will have the middle size number, root 3. Voila, there is your 30, 60, 90 triangle. And you must know this by heart. And if you don't in the exam, no need to fret about it. Just remember this mnemonic. It only takes a few seconds. It only takes 5 seconds to actually look at it. It's very simple. You have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. You put them there 1, 2, 3. Put the square root sign in the middle. Arrange them very quickly. And there you go. That's the smallest side. That's the largest side. That's the middle one. That's all it is. Now that we understand this part, we're ready to do the problem. Alright? By the way, the same technique and the same logic will apply if we had a 45-45 triangle. Should we talk about it very quickly? Let's talk about it. In a 45-45 triangle, which doesn't apply in this problem, but since it comes to my mind, let's talk about it. In a 45-45 triangle, isosceles triangle, we have 2 different angles. We have 2 different angles. Why 2 different angles? Because, as we just said, this is 90 degrees. This was redundant. You don't have to put down 90 degrees. That's what that symbol means actually. This symbol actually means that it's 90 degrees. This is 45 degrees and this is 45 degrees. We only have 2 different kind of triangle. We only have 2 different kind of angles. 45 degrees and 90 degrees. That's it. We have 2 different angles. So we write down 1 and 2. Put the square root sign on the last one. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Put the square root sign on the last one. Arrange them in order. Well, they are already arranged. 1 and 2, in that case, they are already arranged. 1 and 2. 1 is smaller than root 2. Therefore, root 2, because it's a larger number, will face the largest angle in this triangle. Well, technically speaking, strictly speaking, not the largest angle, but the larger angle, because these 2 are equal, which is why we only have two numbers. So root 2 will face the 90 degree. and then here we have 1, and here is your 1. There you go, that's your 45, 45, 90 triangle. And here the sides are going to be in this proportion. And the other one, they were in the ratio of 1 root 2, oh sorry, 1 root 3 and 2. Let's do the problem. Now that we understand 30, 60, 90 triangle, let's do the problem. So we have a ladder. We have a ladder that is sitting at 60 degrees. We have a ladder that is sitting at 60 degrees. So we're going to draw a ladder. So here's your ladder. We are told that it's sitting at 60 degrees. And it extends 70 feet. Alright, so when you extend the ladder, it's not going to go beyond the wall, obviously. Once you extend the ladder, it happens to be 70 feet. That's the length of the ladder. We are further told that ladder is 7 feet above ground. Why this complication? Why you put it 7 feet above ground? Because they want to be cute, that's all. They just want to see if you pay attention. So it's 7 foot above the ground, so I'm going to put it 7 foot above the ground. So here's your ground, and it is 7 feet above it. Think of this as a ladder that you see typically on the utility trucks when the guy comes to fix your cable line or electricity line. He has this ladder and he's sitting on the bed of the truck and it's above the ground, and they're telling us that distance from the ground is 7 feet. So far so good. What is the question asking actually? I don't know, I did not write down the punchline. If the base of the ladder is 7 feet above ground, how many feet above ground does the ladder reach? Oh, it's very simple. They're looking for this. How much does it reach? Right here, from here to here. Let's call it x. Again, I'm not going to repeat everything. We already learned it. They come in the ratio of, here, three different angles. This is 60, and since this is 90, this must be 30. How do we know it's 90? Because that's your wall. That's where the ladder is sitting. That's the assumption there. It's 90 degrees. Okay, so it's 30, 60, 90. We have three different angles. So 1, 2, and 3. Put the square root sign on the last one. Put the square root sign on the last one. Arrange them in order. And put them here. 1 will go opposite the smallest angle. This is 30 degrees, so that's 1. Root 3 will go to the middle one. And the 2 will go to this guy. They come in this order. 1, 1, 2, and root 3. 1, 2, and root 3. But this side here, let's call this side A. Let's call it side AB. Side AB. Side AB, we are told is 2. Therefore, so we are told that it is 70 rather. We are told that it is 70. Since it is 70 and they are in the ratio of 1, root 3, and 2, it has to be 70 over 2 times 2, which means the ratios are multiples of 35. They have to be in the ratio of 1, root 3, and 2. Therefore, they are in the multiples of 35. 35 times 2 would give us the 70 that we're looking for. Therefore, this missing side is simply root 3 times 35. Root 3 times 35, because that's what this is. This guy comes out to be 2 times 35. That's how we get A to B. A to B we are told is 70, which is same as 2 times 70 over 2, or 2 times 35. We will try to locate what the multiple was. The multiple here is 35. So that's it. That's the distance from, let's call it A, B, C. That's the distance from B to C. B to C is 35 times root 3. But we're not done yet. Don't just stop at that. You're going to get the wrong answer. And then we have to add the distance from the ground to this part here where the story begins, and therefore the total distance. How far is it above the ground? It's very simple. How far is it above the ground? Is simply 7 plus 35 root 3. That's our final answer. 7 plus 35 times root 3. Looks like the answer is D. And that's all it was. We have to figure out what the multiple is here. The multiple here happens to be 35. And how do we know it's 35? Because we are told that A to B is 70. But A to B we know has to be some multiple of 2. Well, then that some multiple must be 35 because it's 70. So how do we 2 times what equals 70 was the 2. So what numbers times 2 will give us 70, and that number is 35. 35 times 2 will give us 70. And therefore this distance from A to C is exactly 35 feet here. It's 1 times 35. 1 times 35, root 3 times 35, and 2 times 35 is what it is. That's all. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.